Morning, brothers and sisters. Today is day 3 of 14 things that are common to the genuine saint. First point was being born again, actually being born again. Second point was understanding, experiencing and knowing the presence, the actual presence, the manifest presence of God. And then my third point here today is having the genuine joy of the Lord. Short point, but let's read it. Now this joy is not the joy of the world, nor as the world knows it. It is very much related to that part of the Spirit that is ever connected to the presence of God. The world's definition of joy is a feeling of great pleasure or happiness. Yet this is not the joy of the saint. The saint's joy is not rooted, nor does it spring from the soulish realm of feelings. It's an activity of the Spirit which produces joy from our very relationship to the Lord. It is sensed in its greatest depth when, at least as far as the world can see, there's absolutely no reason for pleasure or happiness at all. The essence of the joy of the saint is to know that he is loved and that the Lord is with them in whatever his circumstances are. This produces an inner happiness and contentment when there should be none, and is one of the great strengths of the saints. It's also a testimony to the genuine nature of the relationship with the Lord. It emanates out from the Spirit through the soul and manifests itself in the flesh for all the world to see. This kind of joy cannot be counterfeited. Whatever is dominant in the life of the saint will be seen by all when the fire burns the hottest. When the smoke clears, the world will know who is his. Joy denotes victory. So this joy of the Lord, brothers and sisters, is not the joy of the world. It's easy to be joyful when things are going well. But the joy of the Lord, as we read in the scriptures, is our strength. And so when do we need strength? When we are at our weakest. When we're at our lowest point. When the doctor says you've got a terminal illness. When perhaps you're thrown in jail for your Christianity. We've seen that down through the last 2,000 years. When you've been robbed, stripped of everything that you had in this world, and when all that is left is just you and the Lord. Now, to have joy in the midst of those circumstances is the joy of the Lord that I'm talking about. It's the supernatural joy that when men peer into that, they cannot explain it. That's a mark of a genuine saint. When Paul and Silas are in the dungeon having been whipped to within an inch of their life, and now they're in stocks and in darkness, at the midnight hour they began to praise the living God. The joy of the Lord was rising up within them, and so that they could praise the living God, and it was supernatural and it was real and it was genuine. And down comes the power of God, and the whole building is shaken, and the doors are thrown open, and the jailer and his family are saved, and it's magnificent. This is a magnificent example of having joy in the midst of a set of circumstances that it's not possible to have joy in the natural. That's why it's a mark of a genuine saint, because it can only come from a genuine relationship and a genuine connection to God himself, and out from that source flows this power. The joy of the Lord is your strength. If you're a genuine saint, you will have experienced that. If you've been on the road long enough, you'll have experienced the joy of the Lord being your strength. Even when you're down and in comes the Spirit of the Lord, he encourages you, he lifts you up, he speaks to you, he whispers into your heart and soul, and suddenly when there's joy when there should be no joy. And it strengthens you. Those who wait upon the Lord will rise up with wings like eagles. This is the joy of the Lord that causes you to rise up in the presence of God like an eagle rising in the updraft, floating and flying in the heavens. It's magnificent, brothers and sisters. And it is a genuine mark of the saint.